Chapter 81. Panties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 81. Panties in McRae's imagination. It was very easy to help Alice put this little shirt on. He only needed to pull this thing up and buckle the two straps. But after pulling it up, McRae encountered an obstacle. The resistance of these two lumps was huge. Although McRae was very strong, he couldn't do such a thing forcefully. He had to care about Alice's feelings. Besides, McRae's hand was pressing hard under Alice's armpit. This made the resistance in front even greater. After trying for a while, McRae glanced at Alice. Alice's face was still red. He didn't know what she was thinking. But she didn't say anything, as if she was conflicted about something. There was no point in wasting time on such matters. So, McRae said directly, "Alice, close your eyes and treat me as your boyfriend." Without having to explain, Alice knew what McRae's next step was. But Alice didn't have a boyfriend now. Did he need to say this out loud? No. No. I'm so pretty. If she said that she didn't have a boyfriend yet, he would definitely think that there's something bad about me. She ignored it. Thinking about it, Alice closed her eyes. Seeing Alice close her eyes, McRae no longer hesitated. He controlled his hand and tried not to touch Alice's skin. His two hands were at the biggest obstacle, and he started to pull it up. The resistance was huge to begin with, so it was impossible not to touch the skin. This pulled just a little, and McRae felt Alice's softness. At this moment, Alice let out a muffled groan. Her voice was delicate and fluctuating. If McRae hadn't been so experienced in the past, he probably would have made a fool of himself on the spot. Even so, McRae's heart began to beat rapidly, uncontrollably. Blood began to flow rapidly. The sponge began to frantically supply blood. Fortunately, Alice's eyes were still closed. He couldn't see McRae getting up. If she opened her eyes, the two of them were facing each other now. If she looked down, she didn't seem to have seen it. After all, her size would block her vision. That was good. Thinking for a moment, McRae felt that he couldn't care so much about Alice's feelings. If he continued doing it so slowly, it might get even more awkward later on. He immediately took action. To be more stable, McRae pulled most of her bra. But as he moved, Alice made a strange sound again. At this moment, Alice was actually very embarrassed. It wasn't as if no one had touched these two big treasures in the past. Anna had once loved to play with her two babies. At that time, Alice didn't react much. Because there was no major reaction, Alice felt that it was not a big problem to let McRae touch it. But, McRae's hands seemed to have a magic to them. Once he touched her, she felt like a certain nerve in her brain had been touched. This strange feeling made her forget everything else. It seemed like her ankle and elbow no longer hurt. It was even to the extent that this sort of feeling would cause one to feel slightly obsessed. What happened to me? Alice couldn't help but ask herself that. Before the question could be answered, Alice felt that feeling again. And the source was McRae's touch. Her rationality told her that she had to stop McRae immediately. However, this feeling that she had never experienced before made her very obsessed. She was even a little addicted to it. Instantly, Alice fell into a dilemma. Just as she was feeling conflicted, McRae had already put it on quickly. At the same time, McRae carefully hung two straps for her. However, the two lumps were a little uncomfortable. When the top was done, McRae immediately looked down. Then, McRae said, "Come, sit on the bed." McRae knew Alice's condition very well, so he held her. Hearing McRae's voice, Alice opened her eyes. Alice hardly needed to think about this situation. She sat on the edge of the bed and raised her feet slightly so McRae could quickly put her panties on. However, she immediately thought of the key point. McCrae couldn't see the details of what happened just now. If he were to wear shorts for her, wouldn't that mean? Alice didn't dare to think too much anymore. However, on second thought, he had seen so much anyway. What did it matter if he looked a little longer? It didn't matter. Did Alice really not care? It wasn't that. As a person who had received a good education, her sense of shame was actually better than many women. It was just that McCrae's touch just now made her feel different. So, at this moment, her heart was actually wavering. Besides, she wanted to continue experiencing that feeling. Although she thought too much. But McCrae didn't look at it that way. After her 2 feet entered the hole, McCrae immediately turned her head. He didn't seem to want to look at her so closely. Then, McCrae pushed up and the panties were put on. This time, Alice's privacy was finally covered. However, it was a little uncomfortable at the top and bottom. The clothes were a simple matter. Alice cooperated and McCrae put it on for her in a few seconds. Although the progress was fast. However, there was nothing to talk about between the two of them. The awkwardness became even more intense. He carried Alice downstairs and hailed a taxi. Not long after, the two of them arrived at the hospital. The doctor quickly finished checking on Alice. This kind of sprain isn't much. You just have to reduce inflammation and rest. After taking both the external and internal medicine, the two of them returned to the house. It was a simple matter, but it took a lot of time. After putting Alice down, McCrae went out to buy his things. However, before leaving, he left a number for Alice. If necessary, she could call him. Alice breathed a sigh of relief when she heard McCrae close the door. She felt that the huge rock in her heart had finally been lifted. The two of them actually didn't talk much on the way. But Alice could tell. Actually, McCrae wasn't as bad as she remembered. Many times, he seemed to be able to guess her thoughts. So the two of them got along quite well. It was either because of McCrae's looks or because of their intimate contact. At this moment, Alice no longer hated McCrae so much. She even missed him a little now. Alice knew that she didn't like him. It was the feeling of him touching her 2 babies. This feeling really fascinated her. She couldn't even suppress this feeling. It was as if he had left a deep impression in her heart. Could it be that I'm actually a loose woman? Alice muttered and was shocked. No, no, no. I'm not that kind of person. Absolutely not. It must be his problem. Alice immediately found an excuse for herself. In order to quickly change her mind, she returned to her computer. At this moment, her small team had already dispersed. However, a few minutes later, she actually received a message from her beloved idol. And it was McCrae she missed so much. Chapter 82. Herbalist, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 82. Herbalist. Chapter 82. Herbalist. God McCrae and Tenant McCrae. Alice didn't think they were the same person at all. After all, the probability of this happening was too low. Besides, God McCrae had asked him. You like potions? The message that McCrae sent in Divine Domain made Alice even more determined. After all, the tenant, McCrae, had no idea about this. And God McCrae had found him because of this. Yes. I'm already an intermediate herbalist. Seeing the message McCrae sent, Alice immediately replied. Although her elbow still hurt from time to time. However, she gritted her teeth and endured it. The injury on his right ankle was not serious anymore. As long as she didn't move her ankle, it wouldn't affect her at all. Wait for me in the City of Light. McCrae sent a message to Alice. At the same time, he sent her a team invite. There were really not many places where enchantment potions were used. It could only be used in specific places. Therefore, basically no one had studied this thing yet. And McCrae needed it immediately. So when he got home, he immediately got Alice's message from Jack. It just so happened that Alice's message also had her strengths. Actually, she was just testing the waters. After all, because their levels were low, they definitely needed something bright to attract attention. And this bright point gave McCrae a chance. Not long after, McCrae and Alice met in the City of Light. Seeing McCrae's appearance, Alice recognized him immediately. She immediately waved her hand, indicating that she was here. Seeing Alice's actions, McCrae couldn't help but laugh. He immediately sent a message. "We're in team mode. Of course I can see you." Seeing McCrae's message, Alice immediately reacted. Then, she replied weakly, "I was just excited to see you." "Alright, let's get to the point." McCrae sent a message. "If this is done, not only can you join my guild, your position in the future will only be lower than mine, and higher than everyone else." It looked like McCrae was painting a big picture. For now, it was just talk and no results. If Alice's thoughts were normal at this moment, she would definitely have understood and expected this. However, Alice looked like she had seen her idol. His rationality was almost gone. McCrae's words meant everything. She even deliberately lowered her status. "Big boss, even if you don't promise me that kind of thing, I'd still help you." BDNV this time, Alice didn't type. She used a voice message directly. From Alice's voice, McCrae could tell that Alice was undoubtedly very excited at this moment. McCrae didn't believe what she said in this state. But this wasn't important. Only she could make the enchantment potion. Then everything was easy. "Let's go. Let me see your ability." McCrae sent the message and walked straight ahead. Alice obediently followed behind. Not long after, the two of them appeared in the Goblin Potion shop on the west side of the City of Light. And purchased what he needed. Then, McCrae handed everything to Alice. "Thunder. Element enchantment potion, try it first." "Alright, big boss." "Can you not call me big boss?" What should I use then?" "Husband." "Fine. Just call me big boss." The conversation between the two was completely different. Alice spoke, and McCrae typed. However, there was nothing wrong with this information exchange. This situation looked very strange. But it was normal in Divine Domain. After all, everyone had different habits. If it wasn't to prevent Alice from discovering her identity, McCrae would rather talk. After all, words could explain more. The difference in tone and context was completely different. However, in order to have fun, McCrae deliberately didn't let Alice notice. When she discovered it in the future, it would probably be very fun. After chatting for a while longer, Alice began to make the enchantment potion. There were many types of enchantment potions. For example, paralysis, delay, light, darkness, lightning, fire. For spirit-type monsters, if there was no enchantment potion, a specific weapon was needed. Although magic could also cause damage, the current McCrae couldn't exert the power of lightning. Then it would be very troublesome to fight a spirit body. And if he had the enchantment potion, McCrae could finish off those monsters alone. In the later stages of the game, almost everyone would bring some enchantment potions. The paralysis enchantment potion alone could increase his battle power by several times. Right now, however, almost no one would do such a thing. After all, these players were busy leveling up and had no time to study the other things in Divine Domain. This was naturally McCrae's advantage. Logically speaking, the success rate of making this potion in the game Divine Domain was a constant. The things that everyone made shouldn't be too different. They placed the same herbs, the same solution, the same ratio. The skill book covered all the instructions. But McCrae had tried. His success rate was pathetically low. Sometimes, it was so low that it was hair-raising. Even if he succeeded, he would still suffer a huge loss. After many experiments, McCrae gave up. It seemed that the success rate of those herbalists was naturally higher than others. Furthermore, after divine domain fused with the real world, this difference became greater and greater. If not for this, McCrae could have done it himself. He didn't need to hide it from anyone. Fortunately, he had discovered the former great herbalist, the delicate thug. Otherwise, with his success rate, he would probably spend the next 2 days on this. At this moment, just as McCrae was thinking about taking Alice to the underground prison, Alice suddenly spoke. "Big boss, do you think this potion meets your requirements?" With that, Alice clicked on the transaction. Picking up Alice's potion, McCrae immediately began to check its attributes. Enchantment potion, type. Potion level. Level 0 quality. Bronze attributes. Thunder attribute plus 10 special effect. After use, attacks will have its own lightning attribute. Duration is 3 minutes. After taking a slight look at the attributes of the enchantment potion, a smile immediately appeared on McCrae's face. As expected of the delicate thug. It had only been a few days, but she could actually make such a thing. Besides, her proficiency shouldn't be too high yet. If she became more proficient, wouldn't she immediately take off? Moreover, even an enchantment potion with this attribute was enough for himself. Alice was a treasure. Although McCrae was still happy, he didn't intend to praise Alice. After all, he still didn't understand Alice's temperament. If she became overconfident, wouldn't her future achievements be low? So, McCrae sent a message calmly. "It's alright, usable." Chapter 83. Alice's Talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 83. Alice's Talent. Chapter 83. Alice's Talent. Alice was not disappointed to see the message from McCrae. After all, McCrae was a god. How could the requirements of a god be compared to ordinary players? The big boss must have very high standards. "Big boss, don't worry, I'll continue working hard," Alice said firmly. When he heard Alice's answer, McCrae really didn't expect it. He had pressed her down, but she didn't rebound at all. Instead, she revealed a very positive side. Why did he feel that something was amiss? McCrae didn't think too much about it. Anyway, it was actually a good thing for Alice to think this way. Alice would undoubtedly be able to go far. Just as McCrae was about to take Alice to the underground prison, he realized that Alice had started making potions again. After a while, Alice's potion appeared in McCrae's hand again. Enchantment potion, type. Potion level. Level 1 quality. Bronze attributes. Thunder attribute plus 17. Special effect. After use, attacks will have its own lightning attribute. Duration is 6 minutes. After taking a careful look at the attributes of the enchantment potion, McCrae discovered that the duration of the potion was double that of the previous time. And its attributes increased by 7 points. It had only been 2 times, but Alice had already reached this level. Even though he was suppressing her, she could actually explode with potential that he felt was amazing. This Alice was something. Although it was still a bronze-level potion, it was enough in McCrae's hands. But, because McCrae didn't say anything for a long time, Alice McCrae was still not satisfied, so she did it again. McCrae had bought 5 sets of ingredients for Alice. In McCrae's opinion, it was already very impressive for Alice to be able to make one despite just coming into contact with it. But Alice surprised McCrae right away. And this surprise kept going higher. Turning around to see that Alice had started making potions, McCrae looked forward to the attributes of her next potion. This time, Alice consumed much more time than before. It was probably the sum of the 2 times she had made it. After making this potion, Alice clearly felt a trace of fatigue in her tone. "Big boss, take a look. Are the attributes good this time?" With that, Alice handed the potion in her hand to McCrae. Enchantment potion, type. Potion level. Level 2 quality. Silver attributes. Thunder attribute plus 25 special effect. After use, attacks will have its own lightning attribute. Duration is 10 minutes. When he looked again, McCrae didn't want to talk anymore. McCrae had nothing to say about Alice's talent in potion making. However, he was very curious as to why Alice could succeed every time. And it was progressing so quickly. Didn't she need to slowly increase her proficiency? Even though she was an intermediate herbalist, didn't she need to familiarize herself with unfamiliar potions? Alice, McCrae had just typed 3 words. He immediately deleted it. If these words were sent out, Alice would definitely discover the problem. You delicate thug, what do you usually do when you're refining medicine? Seeing the message from McCrae, Alice was excited. Is the big boss going to teach me? This happiness came too suddenly. Big boss, I don't know if I did the right thing. Alice's voice was a little awkward. Usually, I'll look at the potion formula carefully first and match it with the herbs and solvents. I've discovered that just sticking to the recipe like everyone else isn't really accurate. The timing when you add ingredients is based on the attributes of each individual herb. Like this enchantment potion, I'll decide to put it in sooner or later based on the conflicting attributes. Although I'm not sure if it's right, I think this efficiency is quite high. After all, it's almost always successful. When Alice finished, McCrae was stunned. It turned out that not only did battle require careful research, but also potion making as well. Seems like I'd been underestimating divine domain even now. He needed to be serious about everything. According to Alice's method, I could try it on the goblin's alchemy potion. If he could do it himself, that would be great. At the thought of this, McCrae immediately stopped himself from having such thoughts. In his previous life, he was headstrong and could do everything by himself. But in the end, in the world of divine domain, wanting to become everyone's enemy while being alone was absolutely impossible. Could he still make such a mistake in his next life? That was ridiculous. Why couldn't he trust others appropriately? Even if they betrayed him, would they be able to cause any waves in front of him? McCrae smiled faintly. Suddenly, he felt like the knot in his heart had been opened. If you use someone, don't doubt them. If you doubt them, don't use them. If he thought too much about the people who wanted to follow him, they might not be happy either. They might not see it, but they might sense it from tiny cases. There are many things you need to learn to become a superior. In this short period of time, McCrae saw a clear path ahead of him. When facing Alice, he was not so cautious anymore. Maybe he could give Alice some benefits now. The things he would gain in the future would be directly brought for Alice to use. She would definitely grow quickly. Looking at Alice being all enthusiastic, McCrae sent a message. Your method is actually correct, but you can go deeper. Looking at the message McCrae sent, Alice surprisingly didn't say anything immediately. It seemed that she was so looking forward to McCrae's answer that her habits were changed. McCrae thought for a moment and sent out a small secret he had learned in his previous life. It's a good thing that you can carefully look at the attributes of each item, but you can try to change the timing and application of placing them according to your own feelings. Perhaps you'll think it doesn't make sense for a game to require using feelings, but I can tell you clearly that relying on feelings might allow you to take a huge step. McCrae sent a long message. But Alice didn't think it was long at all. She only saw 2 words. Feelings. Alice had also thought about using her senses to operate such a thing. Furthermore, she had a very strong feeling about that. However, as McCrae had expected, she didn't think a game could be felt. But now that McCrae had pointed it out, she immediately believed it. Then she began to make the potion. The next moment, Alice had entered a different state. Because she had her own talent in potion making, she usually only needed someone to give her some pointers. Alice was clearly such a person. Not long after, the latest version of the enchantment potion appeared in McRae's hand. Chapter 84. Entering the Guild. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 84. Entering the Guild. As the enchantment potion was successfully refined, McRae could clearly see the talent Alice had in brewing medicine. As a result, he sent a message telling Alice to enter Divine Domain and meet up with him in the City of Light. After the message was sent, McRae exited the chat without hesitation. And on Alice's side, after seeing the news, she was a little dumbfounded but still followed the instructions regardless. At the start, Alice didn't understand why McRae would let her meet him in the City of Light. And now she knew. So the place McRae needed to go was in the City of Light. Moreover, what she did not expect was that there were actually monsters in the City of Light. Looking at the big boss in front of her, Alice trembled a little. She had fought monsters before, but they were all small monsters. Although she had seen messages from other players on the forum, she was still very afraid when facing a big boss. Big boss, can we beat this? Looking at the 3-story tall ant in front of her, Alice's voice trembled. Just watch me fight. Of course, you can also help if you want. McRae sent a message and immediately went up to kill the monsters. And Alice just watched as McRae began charging. Then, Alice felt sick. She had seen McRae's video on the forum. It was because of McRae's ability that Alice felt that he was powerful and wanted to join his guild. However, that video was only filmed from afar. He couldn't feel McRae's power at all. At this moment, Alice was watching this inside a prison with him, watching McRae fight this big boss. Only then did she understand how powerful McRae was. Still, Alice felt a thrill of excitement at the thought that she had become a member of the McRae Guild. After all, this was her president. It was better not to call him Big Boss in the future. It was better to call him Guild Master, or President. After all, she had already been internally chosen. That's right. McRae had previously decided on Alice. He had no choice but to make her his. After all, the last potion Alice made was too powerful. He had no choice but to take this kind of talent in quickly. Of course he wouldn't give her a chance to leave. McRae wouldn't do such a thing. At this moment, looking at McRae moving around under the boss, Alice's eyes were filled with stars. Many women liked strong people, and Alice was no exception. In the past, when she wasn't playing games, she didn't know anyone much better than her in terms of studies and work. She naturally thought that he didn't like boys. However, after seeing McRae's power, even without close contact with him, Alice fell for him after watching the video. And now, after seeing McRae's ability firsthand, Alice felt her heart almost melt. But at this moment, a strange feeling suddenly appeared in Alice's mind. Along with this feeling, a figure appeared in her mind. Gradually, this person's appearance became clearer and clearer. McRae. The tenant, McRae. The moment this person appeared, Alice was shocked. Instantly, Alice felt her brain become a mess. No. This is impossible. I'm not familiar with him, how can I? It must be because of what happened today. It affected me too much. Yeah, that must be it. Alice forced the feeling down. However, when a person forcefully suppresses a feeling, the feeling would bounce back even more. It was like urging herself to think about nothing when trying to fall asleep. In the end, she thought about it even more. McRae's appearance became clearer and clearer in Alice's mind. This feeling. It was as if McRae's face had been imprinted in her heart. If she couldn't suppress this feeling, Alice's focus would disappear. All sorts of things from before kept appearing in his mind. The feeling when McRae touched her two babies surfaced again. Just as Alice was about to suppress this feeling again, she saw a message. The message was not from the president, but from Anna. Angelina. Alice, I have a team here. Are you coming? There's a big shot leading the way. Angelina was Anna's name in Divine Domain. Because Anna was still working, she didn't have much time in Divine Domain. Unlike Alice, who could totally charge rent for a living. There was no pressure at all. The delicate thug. No need, my president is guiding me. Angelina. You found a guild. The delicate thug. Of course. Angelina. With your level, who would want you? The delicate thug. The famous McCrae. He's carrying me alone now. Angelina. I don't believe you. The delicate thug. Look, screenshot. Alice sent a screenshot. In the screenshot, McCrae was fighting the big ant. After carefully looking at the screenshot, Anna remained silent for a long time. After about 20 seconds, she replied. Angelina. Darling, can I join your guild? Looking at Anna's message, Alice laughed. She knew Anna's temper very well. She didn't reply right away, meaning that she went to verify it. At this moment, she had definitely confirmed it. How could she let go of such a good thing? However, Alice didn't agree immediately. The delicate thug. I'll ask the president after he finishes fighting this boss. Angelina. Darling, why would God McCrae accept you? I heard that he only wants experts. The delicate thug. The president said that my herbalist talent was better, so he accepted me. Angelina. Then do I still have a chance? The delicate thug. I don't know. While the two of them were chatting, McCrae had already killed the boss. There was no notification from Divine Domain when this boss was killed. However, the items dropped by the boss were still alright. Silver leather armor. Bronze bracer. There were also some fragments. Casually putting his things away, McCrae decided to take Alice to fight the ghosts. But Alice leaned forward meekly. President, I have a friend who also has a very low level. Alice didn't finish her sentence. She deliberately left a bit of her tail behind. Hearing Alice's words, how could McCrae not understand her? He subconsciously wanted to refuse. But he still wanted to ask Alice about her friend's ID. If it was someone with talent, there was nothing wrong with taking them all in. What's the ID, show me. At Angelina. Alice quickly sent Angelina's message to McCrae. Upon seeing Angelina's ID, McCrae immediately thought of a person in the future, Tyche. Tyche was a goddess of fate in ancient Greece. She often randomly assigned good luck and bad luck to others. Although Angelina didn't have that ability. However, her luck was really good. In the future, everyone no longer called her name or ID. Instead, they called her by her code name. Tyche. In the past, Angelina was practically unknown in Divine Domain. However, after Divine Domain fused with the world, Angelina became famous. Because her luck was too much. It was so excessive that it made people jealous. Even McCrae sometimes felt himself getting jealous of her easily. After all, he needed to clear many dungeons to get something. Once Angelina made the move, it was guaranteed for her to get it all at once. Her luck was just that insane. However, that was after the fusion. Was Angelina that lucky right now? McCrae couldn't be sure. Chapter 85. Lucky people, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 85. Lucky People Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Regardless of whether Angelina had the ability now, he still planned to let her come over. If she wasn't lucky at all, he would treat it as giving Alice a favor. If it was just a little luck, it was actually enough. After all, luck was too mysterious. Humans were completely unpredictable. McCrae's current goal was not to become the #1 combatant in Divine Domain. He planned to turn his guild into the thing with the most terrifying battle power in Divine Domain. With Alice's arrival, there was no need to worry about the potions. If Angelina was lucky, the equipment stockpile in the guild would basically be stable. With these two people and many things that he knew, it was simply too easy to make his guild the strongest in battle power in Divine Domain. With a goal in mind, McRae said yes to Alice. Alice was immediately happy to receive McRae's agreement. At the same time, she immediately sent a message to Anna. The delicate thug said, "Come over. My president has agreed." Angelina replied, Okay, where is it? I'll be right there." Anna was undoubtedly very excited to receive the information. Although the team she was in seemed to be quite capable, compared to McRae, who everyone thought was impressive, the difference was obvious. So, Anna made a random excuse and immediately sent her team. After knowing the location, Anna immediately teleported to the City of Light. However, on the way, Alice began to text Anna. The delicate thug spoke, "Anna, I'm actually not very familiar with our president. He's not very talkative now, and I can tell that he doesn't seem to like excessive communication, so, you have to change your habits." Angelina reassured her, "Don't worry. I won't do anything stupid." In a moment, Anna arrived at the prison. After seeing McRae, Anna couldn't help but be excited. She kept sending private messages to bomb Alice. Alice knew Anna's personality, so she didn't reveal too much information. She didn't express her views. If she expressed her thoughts at this moment, Anna would definitely be more talkative. She probably couldn't stop. And then there was McRae. After seeing Anna, he directly formed a team invitation. Then, he walked in front. Not a word. Not a single word. He was like a substitute robot that used money to level up. But because of his actions, Anna liked it very much. Whether it was in previous games or the current Divine Domain. Usually, when a girl appeared in a team, the male players would immediately come up and fawn on her. Even if they didn't curry favor, they would still showcase their strength. But McRae was completely cold. If it was an ordinary person, Anna would still think that he was pretending to be so cold. But McRae was a famous big shot. Did he need to act cool? He didn't need it. Furthermore, the stronger the abilities of such big shots, the colder they would be. Anna was already used to such a persona. Besides, this was the kind of tune she liked. Anna had only seen such a scene in her dreams before. And now that she actually saw it, she felt like her soul was about to fly. McRae had no idea about Anna's reaction. He minded his own business and walked in front, with the two little ones following behind with a smile. Anna kept sending private messages. And Alice, looking at Anna's private message, vaguely felt that her own vanity had been satisfied. After all, Anna was praising her president. It was basically like Anna was praising her. The three of them quickly arrived at the 5th level of the underground prison. As soon as they got down, the three of them saw the floating ghosts. Looking at the monster in front of her, Alice immediately used a scouting skill. Tragic Ghost, Level 26 Attributes. HP 12,000, Physical Resistance. 100% Physical Resistance, 10% Fire Resistance, 20% Water Resistance, 0.1% Thunder Resistance Attack. Shadow Attack Drop. Spirit's Fragment, Spirit's Pearl. Seeing the attributes of the ghost, Alice immediately understood why McRae wanted her to make the enchantment potion. Without the enchantment potion, who knew how many people would be needed to completely clear out the ghosts on this level? With the potion, the problem was much simpler. Because the scouting skill was shared, Anna could also see it. After seeing the monster's attributes, Anna immediately summoned a slime. Her level was too low now, and the only things she could summon were things like slimes. However, the slime she summoned had the fire attribute. The seemingly soft slime burned with these red flames. A ghost had just approached a little when it received a lot of damage. This meant that if the flame slime rolled a few times in here, it could deal a lot of damage. Just as Anna thought she could be useful, she discovered a terrifying number .3200. A scarlet number floated above the head of a ghost. Compared to her fire slime, Anna had nothing to say. God truly was godlike after all. The damage he dealt was completely out of her reach. However, this was normal. If he wasn't a god, she wouldn't have left her team to join Alice. Actually, even McCrae couldn't deal such damage to a level .20 monster. However, with Alice's enchantment potion, his damage immediately began to explode. Every slash was a critical hit. Furthermore, this critical hit was not just a double critical. If he was lucky, he could even deal 4 times the damage. Alice naturally guessed the reason. Although she also wanted to show off, she thought of the importance of this enchantment potion and didn't say anything. After all, she couldn't tell Anna the importance of the potion yet. If she told her, she might very well reveal the situation to others. Thinking about it, Alice suppressed her thoughts. She only smiled and stood at the side. Soon, McCrae killed a ghost. Seeing her experience points, Anna was excited. Alice. Did you see that? This experience comes so quickly. Hearing Anna's voice, Alice immediately stepped forward and whispered, "Don't say my name. Have you forgotten the news?" At this point, Anna covered her mouth. But she still couldn't control the excitement in her eyes. There was a large game before Divine Domain. And that game had attracted many financial groups. Even some ordinary players earned a lot from it. However, a merchant player exposed his name, which led to his death. From then on, the game gradually declined. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people playing Divine Domain now. At this moment, McCrae suddenly sent a message to the team. "Delicate thug, come and loot this bag. Let me see how lucky you are." Chapter 86. Angelina, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 86. Angelina, seeing McCrae's message, Alice immediately stepped forward. Anna followed Alice. Ignoring their actions, McCrae continued killing the ghosts. Anyway, the benefits of the team were shared. He would be able to see what Alice found. Actually, getting Alice to touch the bag was completely intentional. He actually wanted Anna to touch this bag. If he went and asked Angelina to do it out of nowhere, it would seem rather odd. So he let Alice touch one first. In a moment, McCrae saw what Alice had received. It was some warrior's greaves, black iron. After all, this was dropped by a level 25 ghost. Getting black iron equipment from a level 25 ghost was completely trash. McCrae didn't care about such things. However, Alice felt that she was very lucky. After all, what level was she now? She was completely wearing whiteboard equipment. Whiteboard equipment usually only added a few attributes. Even so, there were still a large number of people buying whiteboard equipment on the market. So Alice was very happy when she saw the black iron equipment. After all, not only did this equipment increase several points of speed, it also had an adjective attached to it. Just as Alice was about to announce the good news, McCrae returned with another bag. He threw the bag in his hand to Anna. Actually, when he consecutively got 2 bags, McCrae felt that his luck was extremely good. After all, if Spectral Soul dropped a bag, it meant that it would definitely provide equipment. His luck was already pretty good for consecutively taking out bags. As she received the bag, McCrae sent a message. "Angelina, try one." "Oh." Anna agreed and immediately started digging. At this moment, Alice leaned in front of McCrae. "President, look, I got thunder iron equipment." "Oh." Alice asked, "President, why aren't you feeling anything?" McCrae replied, "For stuff dropped by monsters above 20, they aren't considered good if they aren't bronze." Alice was speechless. At this moment, Alice understood. In her eyes, black iron equipment was already a very good thing. In McRae's eyes, it was already a waste not to get bronze-grade equipment from these level 20 monsters. In other words, I'm very unlucky. Was I unlucky? Alice couldn't help but ask herself. Seems pretty bad. After all, she had just fallen in the bathroom and was seen by an unfamiliar man. If this wasn't bad luck, then what was? Bad luck, Alice admitted. However, she didn't think Anna could get anything good. But the next moment, she saw an equipment notification in the team. Congratulations to player Angelina for getting silver equipment. The system's prompt explained everything. Spirit sealing gloves, silver, attributes. Requires appraisal. Alice's eyes widened when she saw the glove in Anna's hand. Just a second ago, she thought that Anna wouldn't be so lucky. And now, she had drawn a silver weapon. The key was that many people could use these gloves. This was a completely rare weapon. Not bad. You're very lucky. I hope that luck sticks. McRae sent the message and continued fighting. At this moment, Anna was still stunned. Actually, this was her first time opening a bag. In the past, as a baby player just following others around, Anna could never touch such things. Good equipment was all given to the other main players. She was undoubtedly very excited to be able to get such a good thing on her first try. Hee. With the glove in hand, Anna stood there and laughed foolishly. It was as if she had won the lottery. Seeing Anna like this, Alice, who was originally a little jealous, suddenly felt balanced. With that silly look, if you're still unlucky, there's no way you can survive. Hee. Did you see that? I got a silver weapon. It's not yours. So what if it's not mine? At least I'm the one who pulled it. Not bad, keep it up. Alice falsely encouraged, then stretched out her hand and said, give it to me. For you. For what? Anna didn't react for a moment. This is something our guild leader got from killing monsters. Don't tell me you still want to get equipment after all that free experience. When Alice said this, Anna immediately pouted. Everyone wanted such a good thing. If she sold it on the market, this thing would probably cost at least 100,000. However, Anna immediately thought it through. Then, she handed the gloves to Alice. Seeing that Anna was so decisive, Alice was puzzled. This was not like Anna. In the past, when she was with me, had she not leached stuff from me enough? Why was she so decisive this time? After putting away the spirit sealing gloves, Alice sent a private message. Anna, this doesn't seem like you. Angelina replied, Alice, you and I are best friends, so I can leech off your things without restraint. But God McRae doesn't know me. I don't want to leave a bad impression on him. Does that mean that you'll do this when you're familiar with the president in the future? Angelina replied with a white eye emoji. If I enter the Gods Guild, I will follow the guild's requirements for the equipment. If I don't enter the Gods Guild, do you think that as a guild leader, he will make such a mistake and let me do that stuff? Looking at the message from Anna, Alice suddenly felt that she didn't know her well enough. Alice thought to herself, I didn't expect Anna to have this in her. Seems like my taste isn't bad either. The two of them chatted privately. McRae came over again. This time, McRae killed all the ghosts within dozens of yards. He also had 5 more bags in his hand. Taking out a bag, McRae handed it to Anna. Angelina, come here. Understanding McRae's intentions, Anna immediately started opening her bag. At the same time, she was praying silently. God. Goddess of fate. Please give me luck. She reached her hand in and took it out again. A huge sword appeared in Anna's hand. At the same time, an equipment notification appeared in the team message. Congratulations to player Angelina for getting silver equipment. Seeing the team's message, Alice shouted in surprise, "No way, it's silver equipment again." How rare was silver equipment these days? On the market, everyone only knew the one silver item in McRae's hand. Anna had just opened one, and Alice felt that Anna had used up all her luck in the past month. And now, she had obtained another silver equipment. What was the meaning of this? Was she going to use up all his luck this year? Meanwhile, McRae looked at the team's notification and silently handed over another bag. Come, continue. Chapter 87. Gold Weapon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 87. Gold Weapon. If she was really lucky, she could do it again and again. If it was the third bag and she maintained that luck. In that case, it meant that Angelina already started to have that figure of the Taichi everyone knew in his past life. McRae looked at Angelina with great anticipation, hoping that she would continue to pull a good thing out. Alice looked at Anna nervously. She had been approved by McRae to join his guild because of the potions she made. If possible, Alice hoped that her best friend Anna could also be in the same guild as her. This way, there would be no conflict in the future. They could always be good sisters. If she was only lucky twice, then it could only be attributed to just luck. But if she was lucky every time, McRae had nothing to say. And he might even fight to make sure Anna joined his guild. And Anna naturally hoped that her luck would continue to be good. After all, everyone hoped to be lucky. What a pity. Fate had played a joke on her. This time, her luck seemed to have failed. It was just a black iron equipment. Because there was no notification from the system regarding the level of this equipment. Looking at this equipment, McRae didn't say anything. Although he knew that Angelina was lucky. But he didn't think her luck would always be good. If he could clear a dungeon and get good equipment twice, that would be enough. After all, Divine Domain had yet to fuse with the world. It was not the time for Angelina to stand out in front of the world. At this moment, Anna looked at the equipment in her hand and immediately felt a little disappointed. But it made sense. After all, it was impossible for her to get good stuff every time. Just as she was about to give up, McRae handed her another bag. Continue. McRae sent a message to the team. Holding the bag, Anna was instantly at a loss. However, a thought immediately popped up in her mind. She felt that she would definitely get something good this time. Holding this bag, her heart began to beat violently. Many people thought that this type of drawing luck was a metaphysical thing. At the start, McRae thought so too. However, someone in his past life broke this understanding. That person was Angelina. Once, in Divine Domain world, there was a dungeon called Green City. The highest level equipment produced there was gold level. No matter which team went in to fight, the highest level items were all gold. This concept had become everyone's understanding at that time. The highest grade item in Green City was only gold. But once, out of boredom, Angelina went in with a small team. At that time, she was just simply bored. At her level back then, she didn't even care about those kinds of dungeons. Then, everyone's understanding was broken. Angelina had actually obtained dark gold equipment, Soul Sky Lodge, Calamity. That video was widely circulated on the forum. It made many players take the initiative to open that dungeon. It was all because of that Soul Sky Lodge. Calamity that no one had ever seen before. Unfortunately, except for the one that Angelina got. The others could no longer pull out anything. Because there was only one in the world, that dark gold equipment was sold for an astronomical price. Because of this, two guilds even fought. Later on, everyone's understanding gradually returned to the past. Gold equipment became the standard equipment for Green City again. The once popular Green City gradually became deserted. But Angelina didn't believe it. She went in again. That time, she obtained another dark gold equipment. At this point, everyone realized. This was not a problem with the Green City. The key was Angelina. The luck that Angelina carried was already heaven-defying. She was synonymous with luck. With her in the team, anything that could be pulled out couldn't be measured by common sense. Sometimes, her appearance could even break a certain rule. Since then, no one called her Angelina. She was respectfully known as Taichi. At this moment, respectable Taichi was trembling as she held a bag produced by a low-level monster. Alice looked hopeful. She hoped that Anna could get another silver-grade equipment. 3 silver-grade equipment were already very impressive. This kind of luck could already reach McRae's recruitment standards. The three of them looked at Anna's hand expectantly. The next moment, the team's notification appeared again. Congratulations to player Angelina for getting gold equipment. Divine Domain's first gold equipment has appeared. A global announcement is about to be made. Would you like to show the team name? The following notification appeared on McRae's side. Without hesitation, McRae clicked yes. Anyway, the team name could be changed at any time. No one would know whose hands this equipment was in. The first gold equipment in Divine Domain has appeared. Let us congratulate the monster team. The first gold equipment in Divine Domain has appeared. Let us congratulate the monster team. The first gold equipment in Divine Domain has appeared. Let us congratulate the monster team. After seeing the 3 reminders from Divine Domain, Anna finally reacted. Then, she shouted excitedly, "Ah! Oh my God, I actually got gold equipment. Gold equipment. Am I really that lucky? Ha ha ha. Ha. Who?" Anna laughed and cried. From her voice, McRae could tell that Anna was crying very sadly. It was as if this luck had touched her. Alice knew a portion of Anna's situation. So she immediately put away her excitement and comforted Anna. All right, it's all in the past. Don't go to work in the future. In Divine Domain, all the injustice will be ineffective against you. You'll be synonymous with luck in the future. Be good. Stop crying. I feel like crying with you when you cry. Hearing Alice's comfort, Anna cried even harder. She seemed to want to vent all her anger. At this moment, McRae couldn't help at all. In front of Alice, he turned on the voice chat. Open another one. Listening to McRae's deep and magnetic voice, Anna gradually stopped crying. He handed the gold equipment in his hand to McRae and took the bag. Then, the team's notification sounded again. Congratulations to player Angelina for getting silver equipment. It was even silver-grade equipment. With the gold-tier equipment as a foundation, this silver-tier equipment already looked a lot more normal. But McRae laughed. He knew very well that Angelina had yet to reach the luck potential she had. Luck that seemed to break the rules. To be able to open several pieces of silver equipment, it had exceeded 90% of the players. He was already satisfied. Being too greedy might not be a good thing sometimes. Then, McRae sent a message to the team. Angelina, are you willing to join my guild? Chapter 88. Scars. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 88. Scars. Angelina, are you willing to join my guild? Looking at the message from McRae, Anna immediately nodded. President, I'm willing. McRae. You have to think carefully. Once you enter my guild, it's impossible to leave. Upon seeing McRae's message, Anna turned to look at Alice. Alice nodded decisively. The next moment, Anna immediately replied, as long as you don't fire me, I won't. Alright, continue to open the next bag. My luck goddess. Although McRae had sent the message, However, Anna still felt that the word was a little ambiguous. Her face immediately turned red. Actually, Anna had always felt inferior. Although she had a good figure and excellent learning ability, however, because of the scar on her face, she had never been able to walk out of it. Only in front of Alice could she reveal her truest side. Many times, in order to hide her embarrassment, she could only talk more. Let others feel that she was talkative and forget the scar on her face. However, who would forget something so obvious? Many times, Anna would hear something bad. Hearing the comments about her. Before meeting Alice, she could only cry silently. After meeting Alice, someone was finally willing to listen to her heart. Although she would sometimes leech off on Alice's things. However, she had always had a balance in her heart. She had never let Alice down, financially or in life. Because she felt inferior, she especially cherished Alice as a friend, her best friend, a trusted tree hole she could talk into. And now, McCrae had opened the door to her new world. She could showcase her abilities in Divine Domain. She believed that with her luck, she could quickly earn money in Divine Domain. Then, she could go to the best hospital and get rid of the scar that had affected her for half her life. But before that, she had to thank McCrae for giving her trust. It allowed her to find a direction to work towards. However, after she opened another silver equipment, McCrae stopped her. This confused her. "President, why don't you let me open it? I think I can continue to get good stuff," Anna said anxiously. How could she give up after finally finding her strong point? McCrae replied, "Here, the highest reward is silver equipment. Because of your luck, gold equipment is found here. Why use up all your luck? Use up. Could luck still be used up?" Alice was confused. Anna was even more confused. Seeing that neither of them reacted, McCrae continued to send a message. "Angelina, feel carefully. Do you feel that you seem to be missing something?" Anna did not believe it when she saw McCrae's message. Still, she tried. Somehow, Anna felt something. But ever since she felt that little thing, she felt it become even more obvious. As if that thing was her luck. This time, she felt like her worldview had collapsed. How was this possible? Divine Domain was clearly a game. How could it consume some energy I have? Could it be that luck really existed? But how did the president know? After a long hesitation, Anna came back to her senses. "President, you're right. Yeah, just listen to me. Good steel must be used on the blade. Now, I'll lead you to level up." Looking at the conversation between the two, Alice felt confused. This kind of thing must be fake. But would Anna lie about such a thing? How did the president know? There were too many things Alice couldn't figure out. But she couldn't ask. She could only silently follow McCrae and get some free experience. Faintly, Alice felt that the game Divine Domain had exceeded her understanding. Compared to other players, the attributes of the items she made were stronger. And the system would also change the attributes of the potion because of feelings. Anna could get good equipment because of her luck. The point was that, since Anna could sense luck, could it be that there were some secrets hidden in the game Divine Domain? Are we really just playing a game? The first gold equipment in Divine Domain has appeared. Let us congratulate the monster team. The appearance of the world announcement immediately attracted the attention of a large number of players. They originally thought that silver weapons were already the ceiling in Divine Domain. However, a golden weapon appeared in the blink of an eye. What was wrong with the game? Was a weapon of this level so cheap to receive? The forum immediately exploded with the discussion about gold equipment. Gosh! Gold. Grade weapon. I wonder how much this weapon can be sold for. I want the first golden weapon. As long as you give me this weapon, I'll sleep with you for a month. Don't tell me you're a goose. Could this have been created by God McCrae? I can prove that God McCrae is still in the City of Light and hasn't left the city. There's news. It's said to be a team from the Dragon Nation. Damn it. It was actually fought by the Dragon Nation. If I can produce a gold weapon, I won't have to worry about money for the rest of my life. The ordinary players only cared about their own benefits. Meanwhile, the people of the various financial groups cared about the overall benefits. A large group of people had gathered in front of Swag. Hux, tell me what you think. If this equipment appears in the auction, do we need to buy it? At Swag's words, Hux immediately sorted out his thoughts in his mind. You can buy it. However, it's not recommended to buy it after the price exceeds $9 million. Firstly, there are many occupations in Divine Domain. We don't know what this equipment is exactly. If it's something that you need, President, you can try for it within a $15 million budget. However, it's not recommended to buy it at such a price. After all, our levels are still too low. We don't need that much money to become famous. Secondly, when the various class occupations in Divine Domain join forces, they can produce extremely great damage most of the time. Just one weapon can't affect much of the battle. Third, at present, our Red Mountain Guild is still walking the elite path. Being too famous might bring trouble. I think the most important thing is to get the silver weapon and snatch the spot of a guild. Hux didn't say it all. However, most people had already agreed on these points. Swag was a manager with responsibility. If he used a large amount of money at this time, it would undoubtedly be damaging for the Red Mountain Guild. Figuring out how to earn money quickly was what they needed to do. Chapter 89. Fire Guild. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 89. Fire Guild. Just as everyone was discussing who obtained the first gold weapon in Divine Domain, the four largest financial groups began to take action within the game. At the Fire Guild, George called all the guild employees over. In the company of the Fire Financial Group, the members of the Fire Guild were based here. As a large financial group in the real world, the guilds established by the Fire Financial Group and the guilds established by normal players or even famous players were different. The Fire Guild was a product of capital. Most of the other guilds were formed for hobbies. This relationship was very weak. As long as there were difficulties in reality, they would give up the game. As for the Fire Guild, it was all the legal salary of the Fire Group. They directly hired others to play games in Divine Domain. These people didn't love games, but considered it their jobs. Because they were backed by the Fire Financial Group, George looked down on guilds that were made by hobby players. Without the support of money in real life, they were like a pile of loose sand, very soft. So in George's opinion, all the good things in Divine Domain should belong to their Fire Guild. For example, the first golden weapon in Divine Domain this time. In the office, George, who was wearing a suit, was having a meeting with the employees of the guild. Tell me, what did you guys find out? The people above are very interested in this first golden weapon. A very muscular man stood up. He was the second in command of the Fire Guild, Loken. When he heard George's question, he stood up. President, according to our current intelligence, we can't know who obtained that golden weapon in the City of Light. Our people are still level 20. City of Light is a level 30 main city. When our people reached the place, that person was already gone. After saying that, he looked at George nervously. Loken knew that his boss was a very bad-tempered person. He would explode with anger whenever he got angry. It was as Loken had imagined. George, who was sitting in a chair, heard Loken's words. George's face turned red, and his fingers gripped the fountain pen in front of him tightly. His eyes widened. Just as Loken felt George's anger about to explode. George took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. All right, I understand. But next time, I don't want to hear the answer that will disappoint me. When Loken heard George's words, he wiped the sweat off his forehead with his hand, glad that he hadn't been scolded. Since we don't know who took this golden weapon, let him go first. However, inform me immediately once you have any news about the weapon. Let's talk about McRae now. The superiors above think that McRae's appearance has affected us. As long as we kill McRae, we can use this to make a big deal out of it. Let our fire guild make a name for ourselves. Now our fire guild doesn't lack people, doesn't lack money, just fame. We're different from those old guilds. We just formed our guild. No matter how rich the financial group is, prestige is still more useful in the game. Killing McRae can greatly increase our prestige. So let me announce the start of the second operation to kill McRae. When Loken and the others heard this, they began to discuss it below. Everyone knew that the people above hoped to increase their exposure by killing McRae. But now, they all felt that they didn't have the strength. President George, our strength isn't enough to kill McRae. Unless we can know in advance, ambush him, and attack. But without knowing McRae's situation, it's like looking for a small fish in the sea. It's too difficult to touch him. And McRae is too strong. We need a large number of people to attack at the same time. We don't have enough people. Terrifyingly, we don't have the strength to kill McRae now. George nodded in agreement at Loken's words. I know this situation. Our strength is insufficient, so. Our superiors have spent a lot of money and found 7 powerful unaffiliated people in Divine Domain. They are all very strong people. George clapped his hands. Then the door opened. 7 people in the Fire Guild's uniform entered. George pointed at these people. Let me introduce you. They are those 7 unaffiliated people. I won't talk to you about their names. The 7 of them are strong. Although they aren't as strong as McRae, they can still kill you as they please. If anything happens in the next few days, quickly report the rest. Leave it to these 7 people. Come online now and search for McRae immediately. Yes. Loken got up from his chair and shouted. Meanwhile, McRae was now at the weaponsmith's place in the City of Light. He was letting the blacksmith appraise this gold weapon. McRae, Alice, and Anna arrived at the blacksmith in the City of Light. The blacksmith who looked like a boss in the beginner village was different from this one. The blacksmith in front of McRae was much younger. Young man, do you need top-grade weapons? The price here is cheap and the quality is excellent. We're quite famous in the entire City of Light. If you don't want to buy a weapon, you can bring me all kinds of materials. I'll process and forge them for you. A bald blacksmith in his 30s said to McRae as he forged. McRae did not talk nonsense with him. He directly placed the gold-grade weapon in front of the blacksmith. I want to appraise this weapon. This weapon is a gold-grade. It's really rare at a time like this. The blacksmith stopped what he was doing. After using the water beside him to wash his hands, he came in front of McRae. After wiping the water on his hand, the blacksmith picked up McRae's gold weapon. He observed carefully. I can appraise this, but it costs 2 gold coins. 2 gold coins. Why don't you rob me? Do you know how difficult it is to get 2 gold coins now? Anna, who was behind McRae, shouted at the blacksmith. It was reasonable. Anna was too petty, after all. 2 gold coins was a huge sum of money for Divine Domain, which had just launched for 4 days. Chapter 90. Devil's Wings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 90. Devil's Wings. For Anna, in the beginning, money in the game was obtained through completing various missions. Also, she could obtain a small amount of gold coins by killing various monsters. In Divine Domain, the conversion level of 1 gold coin and silver coin was 1 gold coin could be exchanged for 10 silver coins. 1 silver coin could be exchanged for 100 bronze coins. 1 gold coin was equivalent to 1,000 bronze coins. For Anna, who was not above level 10, the money she got was slowly saved up a couple bronze coins at a time. Anna, who had been playing for 4 days. The current money added together was only 5 silver coins. This was Anna. She was a person who would rather not buy healing potions when fighting monsters. It was accumulated bit by bit. 2 gold coins would take at least 15 days for Anna. My hard work for 15 days. Just one simple appraisal and it would be all gone. It was too dark. President, let's go. This blacksmith is too black-hearted. Anna advised McCrae. McCrae ignored Anna and placed the 2 gold coins in front of the blacksmith. In the early stages, money was very precious and difficult to obtain. But this didn't apply to McCrae. McCrae could now pass through all kinds of dungeons without any injuries every day, and he obtained a large amount of gold coins. McCrae had a huge sum of 30 gold coins here. Anna looked at McCrae's belt. 30 gold coins was too much for Anna. President, do you know what the exchange rate is in the real world? It's 1,000 now. These can be exchanged for 30,000 yuan. You've earned 10 months' salary of a worker on the outside, just in the past 4 days. McCrae glanced at Anna and nodded. I know. You know. Then why are you so calm? These are real US dollars. After exchanging these gold coins, you can buy a car. McCrae shook his head. No, McCrae knew better than Anna the value of these 30 gold coins. In the early stages of Divine Domain, gold coins in Divine Domain were very difficult to obtain, but in the game, if one wanted to buy weapons and other things, they needed gold coins. Hence, the gold coins in the game were very expensive. Although McCrae had the most gold coins for himself now. McCrae needed a large amount of gold coins to buy a large number of houses. So McCrae wouldn't change it. Furthermore, after growing strong in the early stages, the money invested would double later on. Just as McCrae and Anna were chatting, the blacksmith had completed the appraisal of the weapon. Something that looked like bat wings was placed in front of McCrae. When McCrae saw this, his eyes widened. This is Devil's Wings NV. Devil's Wings, type. Wings level. Level 30 quality. Gold attributes. Movement speed plus 100, magic resistance plus 10, physical resistance plus 10, special effect. After wearing it, you can fly with the host. In the habitat of demons, you won't be easily harassed. Restriction. Unique equipment. The attributes of the Devil's Wings as flying wings were relatively ordinary. It was considered ordinary among gold weapons. This didn't mean that the Devil's Wings was a piece of trash. The Devil's Wings had something McCrae wanted very much, and that was the ability to fly in the air. In the Divine Domain game, apart from reaching level 50, one could also obtain the ability to fly by capturing flying pets. The only thing left was to obtain equipment and wings. In the game, no matter who it was, no matter how fast he was or how high his jumping ability was, he didn't fly. No matter how fast you ran on the ground, you were no match for flying opponents. This was because flying could do more than just speed up, it can also ignore obstacles. Furthermore, flying in the air could allow one to avoid a large number of monsters. It could be said that wings were very precious in Divine Domain. Moreover, the Devil's Wings could also be combined with Dragon's Wings and Angel's Wings. Together, they formed the Great Sky Wings. The Great Sky Wings had very fast speed. The most important thing was that after obtaining the Great Sky Wings, it could give the user a bonus, which was that the user's agility would be doubled. That's right, double. This attribute was too important to McCrae. Just as McCrae was stunned, Alice and Anna looked at the Devil's Wings in his hand with glowing eyes. The two of them were still teammates with McCrae. Besides, McCrae didn't set it up so only one person could see the weapon. So the two of them saw the attributes of the devil's wings. The attributes of the devil's wings were still attractive to them, but what they liked the most was its ability to fly. Even girls wanted the thrill of flying in the sky. Just as the two girls were looking at the devil's wings. In reality, Jack also saw the devil's wings. Oh my God, so it turns out that you're the one everyone was talking about, the guy who found the first golden weapon. As expected of my good friend. There are so many attributes added, especially this agility. After giving it to me, I can easily play with small monsters. F***ck, I can actually fly. That's great. McCrae let me play with it for 2 days. Jack looked at the devil's wings, his eyes glowing. Sure, but it'll be in a few days. In a few days. Why? Don't you have it now? I'll play for 2 days and I'll give it to you. I need to use it now to complete an even more difficult dungeon. Without it, the difficulty will double, and the time needed to use it will more than double. Forget it then. I was just going to use it to look cool anyway. As McCrae's best friend, Jack knew that this was a critical time. If he took McCrae's weapon because of his interest and slowed down his farming speed, as McCrae's best friend, he would be sad as well. What are you planning to do with this gold weapon? Jack looked at McCrae curiously. It is the first gold weapon. If this information is revealed, it's still quite dangerous. At that time, there will be many people coming to kill you. McCrae thought for a moment and said, I still plan on releasing this news. Gold weapons at this time still have a lot of significance. After publicizing it, it's still very useful to our guild. At least, it's very useful to use it to increase our reputation.